Philosophy is often seen as the pursuit of truth, wisdom, and enlightenment. A noble quest driven by curiosity and reason. But there's another side to it. A darker, more unsettling terrain where ideas don't just challenge our assumptions. They threaten the very foundations of morality, society, and even our own sanity. This is the dark side of philosophy, a realm where thought experiments become nightmares, where truth becomes a weapon, and where questioning too deeply can leave you more lost than found. Let's begin with one of the most chilling questions ever asked in philosophy. What if nothing matters? This isn't nihilism as a teenage mood. This is philosophical nihilism. The belief that life has no inherent meaning, no objective morality, and no higher purpose. Nietzsche didn't invent this idea, but he certainly gave it teeth. He declared that God is dead, not to mock religion, but to mourn the collapse of a shared moral framework. In a world without God, without universal values, what's left to hold us together? For Nietzsche, this collapse could lead to despair, but also to transformation. He dared us to become creators of our own values, to become the Übermensch, the overman who dares to forge new meaning in a meaningless world. But here's the terrifying implication. If values are created, not discovered, what's to stop someone from creating a system of ethics that justifies cruelty, domination, or genocide? Nietzsche himself was twisted by later regimes for this reason. His ideas, stripped of nuance, turned into justifications for power and control. And then there's utilitarianism, that seemingly simple principle, the greatest good for the greatest number. Sounds rational, even compassionate, but carry it to its extreme, and it becomes monstrous. If sacrificing one innocent life saves 100 others, isn't that the moral thing to do? What if torturing one person would prevent a war? Would you do it? Would you let a child suffer to save a nation? These are not just thought experiments. They're reflections of real-world dilemmas. Drones, surveillance, medical testing. Where do we draw the line between the needs of the many and the rights of the few? Philosophers like Peter Singer take utilitarianism into uncomfortable territory. He argues, for instance, that we have a moral obligation to give most of our income to the poor, to live modestly. Because every dollar we spend on luxury could have saved a life. It's logical, it's mathematically sound, and it's also nearly impossible for most of us to accept. Let's go deeper. Moral anti-realism. The belief that there is no objective morality at all. Right and wrong, good and evil, these are just human constructs. Useful perhaps, but not universally true. If that's the case, then is murder wrong in itself? Or only because we agree that it's wrong? What happens when people stop agreeing? Here, we reach the edge of the abyss. Because if morality is just a social contract, then it can be rewritten. And history shows us just how easy that is. Slavery, genocide, repression. All have been justified under systems that felt moral to the people inside them. The scariest part? Many of those people were not monsters. They were philosophers, politicians, even idealists, convinced they were doing what was right. Now consider solipsism, the idea that you can only be certain of your own mind. Everything else could be an illusion. You can't prove that other people are conscious. You can't prove that the world wasn't created 5 minutes ago with your memories already implanted. These aren't just mind games. They expose the fragility of what we call reality. Descartes tried to escape this uncertainty with reason. I think, therefore I am. But that only gets you yourself. Everything beyond your own mind? A question mark. It's a disorienting idea that the world may not exist the way we think it does, that everything we love, fear, or fight for might be a dream we can't wake up from. And then there's the final blow, free will. We like to believe we choose, that our decisions are born from freedom and reason. But philosophers like Spinoza, Schopenhauer, and more recently, neuroscientists have suggested otherwise. If every choice you make is the result of prior causes, your upbringing, your biology, your environment, then where is your freedom? You feel like you're choosing, but perhaps you're just witnessing the unfolding of a script you didn't write. And if there is no free will, can anyone be held responsible for their actions? Can we blame the murderer? Praise the hero? What becomes of justice, of morality, of meaning itself? This is the dark side of philosophy. Not evil, not malevolent, but dangerous, because it refuses to look away. It peels back every comfortable illusion, every social convenience, and demands that we confront the void beneath. And yet, there's a strange kind of hope here, because even in the face of meaninglessness, even if we're just dreamers in the dark, we still ask questions, we still seek, we still choose to live, to love, to build, even if we suspect it's all dust. Maybe that's what makes us human, not certainty, not knowledge, but the courage to keep thinking, even when the answers scare us. Because in the end, philosophy doesn't promise comfort. It doesn't hand us peace wrapped in certainty. What it gives us is the fire to question, to confront the unbearable, and to find fragments of truth hidden in the wreckage. Even if the truth hurts, even if it breaks us, there's still something noble in choosing to think, to walk through the dark with our eyes open, and to never stop asking why.
If this made you pause, if you're drawn to deeper truths and quiet strength, then you're in the right place. Like, subscribe, and keep exploring with us. See you in the next one.